Hi, welcome back to my channel, Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm Brandy, and today we are going to be making some very adorable, very cute, very inexpensive pumpkin DIYs that can be used as home decor or for gifts or anything like that. And most of the products did come from the Dollar Tree. So I hope you enjoy these designs as well. Alright, so we are going to get started first with the glass jar pumpkin. And I took this jar and it just reminded me so much of a pumpkin in the shape, and it had the little lines on it. You have to look around a Dollar Tree and see, this year, I think this one came out last year, and I think this year they even have some that are already orange. If you can find those, I have not seen those in any of my Dollar Trees, but I've seen other people online using them, other people on YouTube. And I just used some regular acrylic paint, and I mixed it in with some antiquing wax just to darken it a little bit because my orange was just really bright, and I didn't really like that bright. I like orange, but I didn't want it so bright that it looked neon, and I thought this color was better color for a pumpkin. And so I just kind of mixed the paint, and that's the paint color they ended up using the whole time. And then I took the lid and I used antique wax over the top. I do go back in and do a second layer of each later on. I believe I left that off the video though. So I just painted the lid. The lid was silver, and I just thought brown would look a lot better as the top of the pumpkin because brown is more natural, and then the stem comes off of that. And so I'm just painting that with the antique wax. It doesn't have to be perfect. We cover part of it anyway. But then I got this leather ribbon from Walmart, and I got it off the clearance rack, and I had put 2 coats of the orange on there. And I'm just taking, and I had measured from the top to the bottom of the jar, from the bottom of the rim there, where it starts to curve, to the bottom of the jar. And I just cut these pieces to go around. I liked that animal print leather ribbon there. And again, I got that off the clearance rack for 50 cents. So don't discount the clearance racks. Make sure you take a look in Walmart and the clearance racks, because you can find some good deals. Like I said, I got this leather ribbon for 50 cents, and I really like how this turned out. This pumpkin I think is adorable. And because the paint is on the outside, this would be food safe. So if you wanted to add candy to the inside, you could do that. And then I just take my hot glue, and I'm just going, I started on one side and then I made it even on the other side. And I just do different sections to give the look of the pumpkin. I use my little rubber spatula there to, so that I don't burn my fingers. I do have the finger protectors. I don't always grab them. I always forget to grab them until I feel hot, and then I will usually grab something. So these silicone spatulas work really well also, and sometimes it's easier to maneuver other things when I don't have those silicone fingertips on. So I prefer the little spatula. It can just lay right there. And I just put these down into the little grooves, but it's wider than the grooves, so I just kind of try to use that little spatula to push it down in there. And you can do as many lines as you want on your pumpkin. You can do as few as you want, whatever you feel like, whatever makes you happy, however it looks to you. Some people don't like the animal print, and they go for a totally different style, and that's perfectly fine as well. Whatever design or style that you like is what you will make. It's what you make. It's how you make it. That's what I love about DIY, because I can see something in a store and be like, oh, that's really cute. It's not my style, or I don't like the color. And so then I will just, go home. Sometimes I'll be in the store and I take pictures of things all the time. I'm sure people get really aggravated with me sometimes, but I just take pictures of things, because then I can go home and I can look at it and say, okay, I can make this, but I can make it more my style by changing the colors, or by just changing the style completely, because a lot of things now in stores are the farmhouse or the boho, and that's not my style at all. And so I will just like something and I'll go home and I'll make it into my own style. Excuse me. So then I'm cutting some more ribbon to go around the rim of the lid and to go around right below that lip on the jar where the threads are. I go right below that, so, and I measured there so I can take my ribbon and go around the top here. Again, that's right below the rim where the threads of the jar stop. Not treads, threads, sorry. Alright, and then I take some more and I put it, I'm going to use the Gorilla Super Glue for this one because I don't think the hot glue will work too well on the metal. So I use the Gorilla Super Glue. And if you get this Gorilla Super Glue, make sure you get the non-foaming. I don't know, this one seemed to bubble up around, and then I found some that's clear and it says actually on it non-foaming. That one works really well, so I think this one is meant for a different purpose, but it doesn't say foaming on it. It just, but it really leaves a lot of excess, and I'll show you in a minute. If you can see here when I put the stem on my jar lid, it does kind of ooze out the side, and I did a couple other projects with it, and I ended up just giving it away to somebody who can use it for things that are not crafts that need precision, because no matter how little or amount I put on there, it would always ooze out. It was like it was foamed up. It was the strangest thing. But I just used 2 of those little blocks from the little cubes from the Dollar Tree. I glued those together, and I just use hot glue for those. You could use wood glue if you want to. I've never had a problem with them being held together with the hot glue. So then I use the antique wax and I just color those, and then I use some more glue. Again, I used a very small amount. Actually, I did use some hot glue with this one too. Maybe that's why it foamed, I don't know, but it does kind of ooze out, and I just leave that to dry, and then I come back. It looks adorable. I just think it is the cutest little jar, and again, you could put candy in here. It is still totally food safe. So as you can see around the top there, I do have that where it kind of oozed out and it is not clear. So I'm taking a little bit more of that ribbon so that I can kind of cover that up, because I don't want to just leave that, and I don't like how it looks on there. So I just kind of wrap that around the little stem there, and then I just glue it down with hot glue. And I used some of the beaded wired garland or trim that comes from Dollar Tree, and I just wrapped that around the top of my paintbrush and gave it a twist so that it could be the little twisties on there. I'm just seeing how that looks. If I like it, okay, I like it. Now I'm going to glue it all down. I usually try to fit things on before I try to glue them, because sometimes I see something in my head and it just doesn't transfer well. So I always try to do what I would just call a dry run without any glue. See if it fits, see how it looks, and if it looks like what I'm thinking of in my head, and then I'll glue it down. So then I just go through and I glue all of that down. And that is it for this project. I really think that this turned out really cute. I really like this jar. And again, this is food safe. And that makes it really cute because you could just put some candy in it and have that sitting there as a little candy jar. And I think it's adorable. Now, what I do go back and do here, I thought I was finished, but I kind of scratched the paint off the glass a little bit because I am just using regular acrylic paint. And if I were you, I would do this in the very beginning instead of adding all the leather. So I take Mod Podge and I just go over the glass parts that are showing with the Mod Podge to make it adhere a little bit better, make it so it doesn't scrape off very easily. And then I do the same to the lid. Again, I would do this before you add the leather ribbon. Not that it messed up the leather ribbon at all. I just went in between each little area, so you could wait till the end if you want. I didn't think about doing this before then, or I would have. It also works really well if you put Mod Podge on before you paint. If you put a layer of Mod Podge and then let it dry completely and then just paint over top of it, it does make it adhere better to the glass. I'm not into the rough look where I wanted it chipped and see-through in spots. So, you know, I did that on the lid as well because I just used antique wax on the lid and it was metal and it was kind of coming off a little bit in some areas. So I just went ahead and did that. Here's the finished product. Again, you could use this as a candy jar or for any kind of little trinket, or just let it sitting there as a pumpkin. I think it turned out adorable. And I really like how this turned out. Let me know what you think in the description box below. Alright, on to the next one. We are going to make some... Alright, so I take these wooden pumpkins that I got from Walmart here. Excuse me. These were a garland that I received last year. And then I had these leather pieces. Originally, this came in an earring making kit, but because they were a different color on the back side, I did not want to use these for jewelry, but I did use these for other crafts. So as you can see, a lot of variety in color, a lot of variety in texture, a lot of different shapes and texture into the leather, and I really liked that. I really liked the difference there, and I think fall is all about color and texture and different fabrics and different mediums. So I went ahead and got a piece of copy paper, and I am tracing out the pumpkin itself, and then there's like a 3D piece in the middle, and so I am just making a template. It's cheaper to use the copy paper than it is to use the other you know, the other things like the leather or whatever. So I'm making myself a template, and then I will cut that out, trace it on the back of the leather. And I actually have a pen that's made for marking on the leather, on the backs of it anyway. And, you know, you just want to make a little template, cut that out. I dry fit it first so that I can see if the paper template actually matches. And then I do each one individually because none of these pumpkins are completely exactly accurate. I do that once I cut out the leather. So I just make my little template. I test it out to make sure. Then I traced it all on the leather, and then I'm cutting out all the different pieces. I sped this up quite a bit because I don't think you need to see me cutting all of these out. And for whatever reason, it wasn't letting me cut this video file down. So I just sped it up completely. And again, here I am. I just dry fit all of those pieces, and I have to do a little trimming of each one to get them to fit. That's how it looks there. And so then I just continue to cut all the leather. While I'm doing that, let me just pop in here to say real quick that if you are new to my channel, thank you for watching. I hope that you will subscribe here on our channel. I do all things frugal. I do DIYs, home decor, I do shopping hauls, clothing hauls, I do tips and tricks, I do product reviews, anything that will be a frugal thing, anything that will help you save money, anything that I like to save money in all aspects, not just with crafting, not just with home decor. I like to save money on clothes. I like to save money on just about everything. So if you are interested in being frugal and learning some tips and tricks on being frugal, then I would ask that you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell where you will be notified every time I upload. Also, if you will hit that like button and leave me a comment, those things really help the YouTube algorithm, helps let them know that people are enjoying my videos so that they will share those to other people as well. And I have the goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I know that's a tall order, but I really hope to reach that goal by the end of 2020. So I would hope that you will hit that subscribe button and become one of our frugal friends here, and we can all join the club of saving money, whether it be these times that are just crazy, or if times are better for you. It's still always good to save money and to not spend the most on absolutely everything. So again, I apologize for all of this still being in here. I did try to speed it up, but it's still a little tedious watching somebody cut out all of that, and I apologize for that. Also, I'd like to mention that I apologize for not uploading in the last month. Things got really crazy and hectic, and it's just been really busy, and I haven't been able to spend the time. So I took my little summer break, I guess you would call it, and now I am back, and fall is here, and I am really ready to go. And as you can see, I mixed up some of the colors on these as well, so not just mixing the wood with the leather, but also mixing the colors. I laid each one out to see how I would like it, and then, you know, trimming up any little excess pieces there, because they were all not, again, when you get these kinds of things from Dollar Tree or Walmart, they all don't match perfectly. So I'm just trimming up little pieces, and then I will be gluing everything down. I just used hot glue. You could use a spray adhesive, you could use anything there. I, again, just ended up using hot glue. Sorry. Again, this is quite a bit left in here that I thought I had cut out. But just trimming those all up. And again, I did mix colors. I mixed, some of them I left one solid color, and others I did two-toned pumpkins, just to give it a little bit more variety. Alright, I glued everything down with hot glue, and then I am kind of pairing these up. I'm doing some in groups of 3. And I am just hot gluing everything together, holding them in place. And then there's one little group there, and then I take some other, I believe I do, this one in the background here is not a leather pumpkin, it is actually a metal pumpkin that had a stake on the bottom of it. So again, mixing the mediums, mixing the metal with the leather, and you know, just added some glitter on that as well, just to make it a little glittery. Here I used one of the Dollar Tree pumpkin signs as the third pumpkin, and this one I did the blue, and I had a little bit on that one where I'd cut it a little bit short. I trimmed off a little too much, so I wanted to kind of add some of this leather trim that I also got for 50 cents at Walmart. It was on the clearance rack, so I just kind of wanted to hide that a little bit. So I do a little trim out, and I'm sorry I got out of frame here. Using my little silicone spatula there. I didn't wrap it around because I couldn't get it to lay straight, so I cut it in 2 pieces, and I made it to look like it was wrapped around, but it's really not. And that covered up the little spot where I made a hole in where you could see the wood through the leather. And that just kind of covered it up. I'm using the exact same trim on the other ones because I wanted that to be a little bit more cohesive in its design. Again, you can decorate these any way you want, any color, any patterns, any trim that you want to put on there. It's all totally up to you. It's everybody's personal preference. So here's that wooden sign. I know a lot of people don't like the glitter. I am a glitter girl. I love glitter. So I don't mind the glitter at all, and I don't try to get it off. I just leave that on there. I really liked this pumpkin. I thought it was very pretty, and it also does have that buffalo check that people just love. I'm not a huge fan of the plaid and the black and white checks or anything like that, but I thought this pumpkin was really cute. So I added a couple of leaves to the top after I did the trim. And then I have my other 2 pumpkins, and I'm just putting those on the side here so that it is one big sign by itself. And I believe I even put some of those little tiny wooden cubes on the back to make them stand up. I'm trying to test here to see what I need to do all of that. I take off that little thing there, and see, I'm just using some of those little cubes. I put them in the middle. I just put several of them to make a spot big enough, you know, so it'll stand up on its own. Alright, so there it stands on its own. I really like how some of those pumpkins are kind of lifted up off the ground. They're not all just like flush with the ground. I think that looks good too. I just didn't, I wanted something a little bit unique, something a little different. I often say that I am an oddball, and that is okay with me. I never wanted to be totally just like everybody else or totally normal, or, you know, I think it was just always, I could be different. I never wanted to wear what everybody else wore or anything like that. It was always like, oh, what can I like that style, but how can I make it more me? Alright, so here's our finished product. Here we have, you know, like I said, I love the variation in the colors and the textures. I just love how these leather embellished pumpkins turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really love that blue with the brown and the two-tone blue. I don't know that one. I just really love that one. The yellow as well. And then I added, like I said, I just added some leaves from Dollar Tree. All right, lastly, we have our DT Dollar Tree foam pumpkins. And I had this inspiration. I saw this at Walmart last year. It was about $10. And I thought it was really cute. The lid was sitting on the side. It was full of leaves and flowers. I just didn't want to pay $10 for it, so I hope that I didn't add in all of that, or I'm doing other things. Okay, so I'm taking my pumpkins here and I'm just using a box cutter. And I'm cutting a circle, a large circle all the way around the top of the pumpkin, because not only do I want to be able to put the flowers inside, but I want to save that lid so that I can tip it on the side there a little bit. These are really, really simple to make. Anybody could make these. Anybody could do this. I didn't really like the color too much. They were a little too bright orange. So again, I used that same mixture of the regular apple barrel orange, and I mixed it with some antique wax just to give it a darker actual pumpkin color. Oh, I'm actually showing me mixing it here. Sorry about that. Excuse me, my allergies today just seem to be really going a little crazy. So to me, this made it look a little bit more like a burnt orange or an actual like pumpkin color. And I just mixed it until I liked the color. And I use that for several things. If you are mixing paints, I recommend that you mix them in something with a lid, so that if you don't use everything in one project, you can save the paint for a little while. These are like the Seal Fresh containers from Dollar Tree. I believe you get 2 of them for $1. And I just mixed it, and then I painted the pumpkins, I painted the lids, I painted the sides of the lids so you couldn't see the white along the sides. I had to give probably 4 full coats of this onto the styrofoam just to tone down that bright fluorescent orange color that those come in, which is great if you're making jack-o'-lanterns or if you really like that color. To me, it just didn't look as pumpkin-y, and I really wanted these to look like pumpkins. Alright, so again, this is the first coat is very thin. I didn't have any brown paint, that's why I mixed in the antique wax, but that made it even thinner, I believe, because the antique wax is a lot thinner than actual paint. So I got the color that I really liked, and it's showing up on camera a little bit, I don't know, greenish, but it's really pumpkin-y. So in the pictures at the end, you really can't see how those turned out. So I just give, like I said, I probably ended up giving about 4 coats of this paint completely. And I don't worry about the inside at all, because that's going to be filled with foam and then flowers all around the top. Alright, and there is a little, like a toothpick inside of that. It's actually holding on that little green stem there. So I just am holding it with that so that I can paint all the way around. Again, I get those sides, and those sides probably took 5 or 6 coats to make them orange instead of white, because it wasn't like the plastic covered styrofoam. It actually was like the really holy dipped in part of the styrofoam. So it was a lot more difficult to paint. I went ahead and painted the bottom in case any of that would be seen when it was sitting angled on the side there. And I just keep that toothpick in there. You'll see later I use that toothpick just to insert that whole thing right at the side to where it looked like that tip lid in our inspiration. And the one in the inspiration, of course, was like a plaster, like a planter. It was actually, it wasn't foam, but I was able to make 2 of these for probably $5 total with all of the picks and everything. And one of those was $10. So again, you can save money, and you can have, you know, sometimes just getting one of something isn't always enough. You have an area where you need 2 of them, and that would have been $20. Just to me, that would have been really expensive. So making 2 of these for around $5, I'm guessing, because I don't know exactly how many picks I used, because I just combine all of my fall florals and I reuse them year after year, and I take, you know, things from all over and put them together. So, you know, I would guess about $5 if you included the, you know, the florals from Dollar Tree as well. All right, again, sorry for showing you so much of me painting these. I just wanted to show you, you know, this is 1 coat and it really doesn't cover. I know that I don't leave in me giving all 4 coats, so I think you just have to sit through the first coat, and I apologize for that. But I did just keep painting these and letting them dry, and then coming back and painting them again, letting them dry until the coverage was complete and full. All right, and getting all of that white, again, it took a lot of coats to cover the white, but I really did not want that to show through, and I just wanted to paint the bottom just in case you'd be able to see any of it. All right, now on camera this does not look like it's full coverage, but the different tones of the color actually look good. I took some of this floral foam and I just shoved it down in there in each one of the pumpkins. And I used that little toothpick that was on the back of that just to insert the pumpkin top over at the side. And I cut down these leaves to, you know, there's like 2 on a bunch, and I wanted to get those and cover all of the foam so you couldn't see any of that. And then I added my florals and so forth later on. Me personally, I always start with the leaves or the greenery, and I add my florals after, so that the leaves are very easy to fill in things. You really can fill in a lot of area with the leaves. And then I had these mums that came, I believe those were from Walmart, and they had all the mixed colors, and I really like those. I just pushed the leaves all the way up and cut all of these apart. And again, if I don't use florals for this one, I save those, I put them in a baggie, I hang them up in my little closet area, and then I have them for the next time, for the next project, for the next item. And I'm just placing, you know, some of those big, I believe these are chrysanthemums, and I have trouble saying that. That's why I slowed it down just a little bit, because I just always, I don't know, that one just is a little bit of a trial for me to say. So I put these, I really love the burgundy color. I just think it goes really well with the pumpkins and the orange, and it's just, again, mixture of all these warm, lovely colors, and I really like that. So I laid my extra flowers to the side, and then I had this like potpourri bunch that I got from Dollar Tree a long time ago, and these like burgundy, I don't know, they were sticks of some sort, and they were kind of twirly, and I just thought they were pretty. It only had one of the flowers, so I didn't use that, but I just took some of these sticks and stuck them down in the middle just to give it a little bit more height. And I just love how these turned out. I put them all over, different angles coming out. It just really kind of lifted that up and just kind of gave it a little bit of a focal point up a little higher. So I thought those were cute. And I had to kind of put 2 of them together because they were pretty thin, and if you weren't careful, you'd break them as you stuck them into the foam. So and then I take some of these little berries. Again, anything and everything you can find that you think is pretty. I love the various colors and the different, you know, the sheens and shines to some things. These berries are very glossy, and I really liked adding just a little bit of shine to this that has no glitter or anything, but it does have a little bit of shimmer now. So, and then I just repeat the same thing with the second pumpkin. I don't want them, you know, completely identical, but I do want them to be a matching pair so that when they're sitting on the ends of the table, they look very cohesive together. Or maybe they're sitting in different shelves in your room, maybe in built-ins beside your fireplace or something, that they just look cohesive. So they don't have to be perfectly matching. And here they are, totally finished. I really love how these turned out. So let me know what you think. I just love all the variety of colors and textures and so forth with these. So I hope that you enjoyed these pumpkin DIYs. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.